In Huckleberry Finn, the main characters are Huck and Jim. It all starts out with Huck being forced to become civilized by his caretaker, the widow Douglas. He leaves the widow and is taken by his father Pap. Pap continuously abused Huck. Well, last I pulled out some of my hair and buttered the axe good, and stuck it on the backside and slung the axe in the corner. Huck then decides to fake his death and run to Jackson's Island. On the island is where he finds Jim, which is a runaway slave. They both run away for freedom. Miss Watson was going to sell Jim, but Jim didn't want that, so he ran away. Later, they soon find out that everybody thinks Jim murdered Huck. Now, Jim is wanted for running away and for the murder of Huck. Huck realizes he practically has nothing better to do, so he decides he's going to help Jim achieve his goal of running further down south on the Mississippi River to reach the Ohio River, taking that river up to the north afterwards, which he plans to save money and buy his own family. On their way down the Mississippi River, they run into a lot of mischief. Huck and Jim get into an accident on the river. Jim ends up captive, and Huck is taken in by a family known as the Grangerfords, but not before they interview him to make sure he didn't come from the rivals, the Shepherdsons. The two rival families get into a mess and end up giving Jim and Huck a chance to escape in the chaos. When they get away and continue on their way down the river, they run into a couple of cons. These two men needed Huck's help to escape and lied to Huck, telling him that they were a duke and a king. They travel with Huck and Jim down the river, playing schemes to get money along the way. The Duke and the King end up cheating Huck and Jim. They sell Jim to a family and run off with the money. Huck finds out that the family Jim was sold to was a family known as the Phelps. On his way down to rescue Jim, he finds out that the Phelps are also his friend Tom Sawyer's aunt and uncle. When he arrives to their house, he runs out into Tom. He tells Tom to play it cool, and they come up with an elaborate plan to rescue Jim. Tom and Huck end up going through with the plan. While they were running, the Phelps ran out and shot Tom in the leg before they could run away. After getting shot, Tom tells Jim and Huck that Jim was free the whole time, and he just wanted to have fun. Jim and Huck then part ways, Huck runs away, and Jim sets off to retrieve his family. The recurring symbol in Huckleberry Finn is the Mississippi River. Throughout the book, Huck and Jim run into various troubles. These problems they run into always happen when they are off of the river and on the land. So in 2 seconds away, we went sliding down the river, and it did feel so good to be free again, and all by ourselves on the big river, and nobody to bother us. Huck practically sees the river as his happy place. He feels safe, so whenever Huck and Jim are on the raft in the river, they feel relieved and joyful. They also bond on the raft. Alright then, I'll go to hell. Huck decides this while he's on the river, while he's thinking about whether he should help Jim or turn him in on his way down the Mississippi. Huck did a lot of his thinking while on the river, and some of the most important decisions were made on the river. Ultimately, the river is the biggest symbol in the novel. It meant freedom and safety to Huck.